In this video, we're going to talk about whether you should buy property in a limited company or in your personal name. Now, there's many factors involved in this, and I will just throw it out there that it depends on your personal tax situation. However, I'm going to talk about my experience because that's all I can do. In my experience, the limited company option is the better option if you're looking to scale a portfolio right now. There have been some huge changes, and it meant that, you couldn't write off your mortgage interest if it was in your personal name, also known as Section 24. There is a video on my website if you want to check that out. But Section 24 effectively means that you cannot write off your mortgage interest as a cost, and therefore you will end up paying more tax. If you are a higher tax earner already on the personal side of things, then that ultimately means more of your income from your property is going to get taxed at a higher rate. As it stands right now, the corporation tax is 19% on businesses. It is going up in 2024 to 24%, thanks to the COVID outbreak and all the loans that were given out, more than likely. But hey, they did support a lot of businesses and keep a lot of money moving through the economy, so can't complain too much about that. But you need to decide how it works for you. If you run a serviced accommodation business, then it is a trading business, and therefore you fall outside of the government's AST landlord structure where Section 24 is wrapped around. So that means you can actually write your mortgage costs off and ultimately reduce your tax liability. So that is one of the benefits of serviced accommodation businesses. I've worked with many old school landlords, because typically a lot of the newer ones are putting them into limited companies, and did change when it was all coming around. However, the older landlords who didn't want to go through that process and were maybe coming towards the end of their careers, they decided not to, and they've still got a lot of property in their personal names. But by flipping that property into serviced accommodation units, it can save them fortunes on a monthly, weekly and annual basis. So, you've got to be able to use the tax situation for your benefit. If you're just wanting to run a standard AST portfolio, right now it makes more sense to put it in a limited company. However, you need to also be analysing the profits and say, okay, well, with the hike in 2024 of, the extra percent on the corporation tax, is that going to still make it more viable for me to run it on that route rather than go into my personal name? It's an ever-changing world, it's an ever-changing landscape, and we've got to figure it out, and you've got to just keep on track of it and decide what's right for you and what's not right for you. But in the main, running a short-term rental business, for me, it was a limited company, and I continue to put things into the limited companies and keep everything outside of my personal tax situation. And that just works well for me. I know many operators who do run it through their personal situation, and that's the way that they want to do it. It just depends where you want to scale. If you want to scale into the hundreds of thousands in terms of revenue and obviously profit with your business, it probably makes more sense to put it through a limited company. And then you can look at using tax specialists to help you understand how you can legally pay as little tax as possible and operate a very efficient business. And that's where tax specialists come in, and why, again, I talk about it all the time, wrapping an expert team around you is so important. They might charge you X, but the value that they'll give you is Y. We talk about capital allowances in terms of tax within the serviced accommodation world. You can claim back your capital allowances if you run your business as a trading business. This saves tens, if not hundreds of thousands every single year for property businesses that know what they're doing in the short-term rental space. I have done a video on that. Feel free to look back through the videos and check that one out as well. As always, please subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment. I personally reply to them all. And head over to ryankluke.com and check out the website.